this is the Provoked Prawn, and this is a video to compare two fantastic wireless gaming mice from SteelSeries. The SteelSeries Aerox 3 Wireless, seen here on the left in the Ghost Edition, and the SteelSeries Prime Wireless. I've unboxed and reviewed both these mice separately, and I'll link to those videos in the description. But here I'm going to show you the differences and talk about the specs and features and highlights of both these mice and compare them side by side to show off the differences. Now, as you can see, the Prime Wireless is quite understated as one RGB lighting zone around the mouse wheel, but it's otherwise very subtle, whereas the Aerox 3 Wireless is quite in your face. This is the Ghost Edition. It's available in various different colors, and obviously the Ghost is quite striking. It is also one of the best looking mice I've seen in terms of the RGB lighting. It's also the lighter of the two. This weighs in at 68 grams compared to the 80 grams of the Prime Wireless. So it's very lightweight. It's also designed with IP54 rating. So it's designed to resist dust and dirt ingress as well as water splashes, but it's not waterproof by any means. Now, if you put the two side by side, you'll see quite a big difference in them. They both have PTFE feet. However, they also have a very different shape to them. The Prime Wireless sits a little bit higher off the desk and pushes up into your hand. That mouse is also designed for a different grip setup and also has different internals. So this mouse will work with claw grip, fingertip grip and palm grip, whereas the Aerox 3 is only designed for two different grip types, claw grip and fingertip grip. Now, inside the box, the setup is quite similar. You get a 2.4 gigahertz wireless dongle and a little adapter that you can see here with a rubberized bottom on it that allows you to plug that in and then plug the other end into your PC. You get fast charging on both mice, which is obviously a bonus of the system because that means that you can plug in and quickly charge it back up. It's worth noting there is a difference in terms of the setup for the overall battery life. So the Prime Wireless, you can see, is pitched at having 100 hours of battery life with fast charging capabilities. This mouse is different from the Aerox 3 Wireless, which has 80 hours of battery life over 2.4 gigahertz and up to 200 hours on Bluetooth. So there's some differences in the setup there, but they both have fast charging capabilities with the USB-C connection. More details on the specs in the description so you can compare them like that. They both also have very flexible USB cables, so when you do need to plug them in, you don't need to worry about being tugged, although obviously it adds a little bit of extra weight, but they are also fast charging, so you can just plug them in for a very short period of time and get loads of extra battery life out of them. Now, another thing that you'll notice about the difference between the design is the Prime Wireless has 5 buttons, the Aerox 3 Wireless has 6, and you'll see there's a button on the underside of the Prime Wireless, whereas the DPI button on the Aerox 3 is on top. Now you can see weighing in the weight of the mic. So the Prime Wireless comes in at 112 grams if you include the cable. Without it, it weighs in at around 80 grams. This is going to vary ever so slightly. So it is the heavier of the two. You can see here that it's 82 grams, and that is a little bit heavier than the Aerox 3, which is surprisingly lightweight. Obviously, you don't have the honeycomb design, so that means you don't have to worry about any sort of dirt and dust build up over time. On the underside, you also have more in terms of the slick PTFE areas, so it's very quick and agile and easy to move around the desk. What is good about this mouse though is what's hidden under the surface. So it has those prestige optical magnetic switches, and I'll allow you to hear a bit of the sound difference between those switches and the ones on the Aerox 3 later on. But essentially it gives you a much clickier response, and it uses an optical measure of the click with a pre-tensioned spring, so basically has zero lag, and it's guaranteed to have a much longer life for 100 million clicks, better than a traditional mouse switch. And I found it really responsive when using it. Also really like the design of the Prime Wireless, the ergonomic shape of it, the way it sits up a little bit higher. It pushes up into the middle of your hand and sits nicely in the palm. Obviously this is going to vary depending on how you like to grip your mouse, but I found that it was very comfortable in the hand However, it isn't the largest mouse I've tried, and one of the things I didn't like about it is those side buttons feel quite recessed, so they're quite difficult to click, which I found a bit frustrating, especially the front one, and I certainly haven't had that problem with the Aerox 3. When you see all these different close-ups, you'll see just how understated the Prime Wireless is. It's a very stealthy looking mouse, so if you're not bothered about RGB lighting, and you just want something that delivers good performance, with good specs that include up to 18,000 CPI, 400 IPS, 40 Gs acceleration, 1000 Hz polling rate. It uses Quantum 2.0 wireless connection, which has dual channel wireless connectivity to your PC, so it's ensuring that it has good performance and doesn't drop out any of your actions, so you definitely get the best response out of it. This mouse was designed for pro gamers, and it's one of several different in the lineup of Prime mice designed for high-end, professional, good quality gaming to give the best results. But the downside is almost certainly those side buttons, which I found just really difficult to press. It's also a little bit tiny, I think, but this is again going to depend on your personal preference. One thing I did like is that sort of rough, slightly rough ABS textured finish, which means that it's easier to hold on to than other mice. It doesn't get really greasy or oily or sweaty, and it doesn't slip around on the hand. So although there's no textured side grips, it's really easy to hold on to, and it's also really responsive. As I said, stick around to the end of the video and you'll hear both mice side by side in the clicks, so you can hear the difference between them. And if you'd like to find out more about either of them, please check out the full reviews linked in the description. Now onto the Aerox 3 Wireless. This is the 2022 edition of this mouse, an updated version that offers PTFE slick feet and a number of different specs. The specs are actually very similar to the Prime Wireless in terms of the internal setup with 18,000 CPI, 400 IPS, 40 Gs acceleration, etc. As I said, this mouse works with both Bluetooth and wireless modes, so you have both connection options, so you can go between them. You will get more battery life out of Bluetooth. However, I did find that obviously will vary wildly depending on the RGB lighting. This is some of the brightest RGB lighting that I've seen on a mouse, and it seems a lot brighter than the original Aerox 3, perhaps because of the Ghost Edition not being black, being this white. It lets a lot more light through, which means that the battery doesn't last quite as long, but it does have fast charging capabilities, so it's really easy to plug in for a very short period of time and get a lot more battery life out of it. It's also the nicer looking of the two in my opinion, and as I said earlier, a lot lighter, so it just weighs in at 68 grams, which is obviously incredibly light and one of the lightest mice that I've seen. This makes it a lot more agile. The honeycomb sort of holy design on it means that it sheds a lot of the traditional weight of a wireless mouse and is very easy to move. The important thing of note is obviously that it has this IP54 rating, as SteelSeries calls it, the AquaBarrier, which is designed to ensure that it doesn't get ruined over time by dust, dirt, oil and whatever else. You can see just the difference between them here and sort of shape and size of them, and also just obviously that the one sounds hollow and the other one is very holy. Now I'm going to be quiet for a moment so you can hear the clicks. As you will have noted there, the Prime Wireless is a bit quieter on the mouse mat and a lot more understated in a number of different ways. However, I will say that the Aerox 3 Wireless 2022 edition, especially in Ghost, is my personal preference. I find the side buttons easier to use and easier to access. It's the nicer looking of the two. Obviously, it's lighter weight, so it's a bit easier to move around, and it's just generally a nicer looking mouse with a number of different options in terms of the finishes, because you can get it in various different setups. It has the potential for more battery life, although I did find I was plugging it in more often because of RGB lighting, but there are some battery saving settings within SteelSeries GG software that I covered in the review. Thanks for watching. This has been the Provoked Prawn. Hope you found this video useful, interesting, hilarious, or otherwise. Take a look at these other videos that I think you might find interesting as well. And have a look at the description for links and other information you might find useful. Click that join button to see the benefits of being a member of my YouTube channel. And most importantly, have a great life.